Hey, what is up everyone? Welcome back to another review, and today I'm taking a look at the new member of the Gundam Aerial family, and this right here is the SD Gundam EX Standard Gundam Aerial. Once again, this video right here would not have been possible without those absolutely awesome people over at HobbyLink Japan. This costs around 600 yen or just less than $5 or €5, and the link is down there in the description. So when it does come to the main new Gundam from a new anime, I tend to talk about some of the lines from Gunpla in a little bit of a beginner-friendly kind of way, just in case you do not know what an SD kit is. What that stands for is super deformed. It means it's got a big head, tiny body, and short arms and legs. In general, there are multiple types of SD kits out there, from very simple to not so simple with an inner frame, all the way to a brand new line coming out in future called the Master Grade SD line, which has ridiculous amounts of detail. Now this would be on the more basic end of the spectrum. This is about as simple as SD kits come. Now that means a multitude of things. First off, this is definitely a kit for all ages. It is from ages 8 and up, and it is super simple. You do not require any tools whatsoever, but they are definitely a plus. You can literally pull this off the runners using just your fingers, and then just slap it together. It is a simple assembly. There is quite a bit of plastic in here for a SD kit. That is 3 runners and some polycaps. 2 of the runners are in some nice colors, and the other one then is in a simple gray. Now, one thing you might notice right off the bat is that absolutely huge, massive sheet of stickers. Now, when you're building one of these SD kits, this one right here included, you're gonna be spending actually more time applying stickers than putting plastic together. So if that sounds like a little bit of a chore to you, then this may not be that enjoyable. Now, this right here is what it looks like just straight built. Now, I didn't use any stickers whatsoever, and this is what you'll get. It is essentially a blank canvas. Now, if you want to bring your own paints, you can make this thing look incredible, but if you do build it just like this, snap built with no stickers, it is a little underwhelming. Now, usually this is what I would have done with any SD reviews before, but I decided to give this the treatment I've been giving kits lately. So I did grab the vast majority of the stickers, the ones that are the most important, and started to stick them on. This takes quite an amount of time. You do have some options for the clear parts. You can actually stick some of these stickers over it. These, of course, are for showing the shell unit in its activated state. Now, these aren't as nice as what we would have seen with the high-grade Gundam, where the stickers actually go underneath the clear parts. These go over the clear parts for everything but on the head, which does mean they will be obscured. I wanted to keep the clear parts visible, and that is basically you've got your shell unit, well, deactivated. If you are displaying it active, there are red eyes and various other colored stickers for using on it, but I went for the more deactivated look, the more classic Gundam Aerial look, and you don't end up covering up the clear parts, which look, well, pretty damn nice. Now, I didn't use every single one of the stickers because I felt some of them were a little bit on the overbearing side. Like, we've got huge stickers to white out the back of the hands, and that really, I thought, would end up looking a little bit on the cheap side. In order to finish it off and bring out some of that nice detail that is all over the surface of the aerial right here, I did also panel line this using the Flow type Gundam marker panel liners. These basically do the job for you. They fill up all the gaps, and then you just wipe off the excess, and it always looks incredibly good. And then in the end, this right here is what I got. Now, popping this side by side with what it looks like with no stickers and no lining, you can see that this definitely has changed incredibly. This is a very nice looking little kit now. Of course, if you really want to raise the game, paint it. That will always make it look 1 trillion times better, but still, for an out-of-box build using only panel liners as a tool, not too bad at all. So yeah, when it does come to the overall aesthetics on this looks really nice. The actual molded detail on this is incredible. For the most part, the hollow parts and other little kind of miscellaneous cut corners you usually see on an SD aren't that apparent really. This is quite nice, considering it is a fairly inexpensive kit. Is it worth half the price of a full high-grade Gundam Aerial though? I'd say if you were choosing between the two, double the money and go for the Aerial. When it comes to the color separation, as you'd expect, it's not great. All the yellow on here is not in plastic. You have to stick that all on, but still, at the end of the day, it turns out looking pretty good with a little bit of effort. Now let's check out what does it come with. So jumping into the accessories, and here's absolutely everything that comes with the SDX Standard Gundam Aerial, and it is essentially just 3 things. First up, I will mention the hands in here. We've only got the holding hands, the standard set of holding hands in grey, so there is no color separation for the white armor on the back. There is stickers included to do this if you want to, but I prefer the look of just grey hands as opposed to ones with some stickers. Detail-wise, these are quite nice for an SD kit, but I will mention on the underside, these are a little bit on the hollow side, so you either want to keep that out of sight, or you may want to fill that in yourself if you want it to look a little bit better. Jumping into the weapons, and the first thing we've gotten here is the beam rifle. Now, in typical SD Gundam style, this is extremely simple. It's essentially just a flat piece of plastic with the general look of the aerial Gundam's beam rifle on it. There is no color separation or any real detail per se. There's a little bit of a hollow part in the side of the sight up top, but besides that, it gets the job done, pops into the hand super simple, holds on strong, and once it's up in a pose, it does what it needs to do. Next up in here, we've got the close range weapon, which is, well, I guess the beam saber. This right here is an absolute sin in plastic. So yeah, the whole thing is made out of completely white plastic. We have some hollow parts in the handle. This is standard for an SD, of course, but that white plastic is killer. Would it have really cost Bandai that much more to put a little bit more clear plastic on the runner? Seriously. Anyway, there's what it looks like in the hand in a pose, and that will never, ever look like a beam saber unless you paint it, and that's what will have to be done. So finally in here we've got the shield. This has a little bit of color separation and lots of nice details, so if you actually do pan line this up, it will look quite good. Now I will mention this is predominantly in white besides the blue thruster segments on the front as well as the grey handle around back. There's a whole bunch of stickers for using with this if you want to actually get this color accurate, or if you want to paint it up, that would be an even better option, but I did not actually apply them for this review because I'm only going to be using this for one reason and one reason only, which I'll talk about in a second. First off, this can be held in the hand just by popping it in like every other weapon. It holds on perfectly and looks quite good, but the best aspect about this is the fact that you can somewhat replicate the bit-on form, ever so slightly. Pop off these little blue segments on the front of the shield just like so, and they can attach up onto the shoulders like this. This adds a nice little extra bit of color up onto the shoulders of the aerial. You've got a little bit of a bit-on form, only a bit though, and this does look pretty cool. This is the way I'm going to be leaving my SD aerial, and this is pretty much it. Anyway, lastly, let's talk a little bit about the articulation. So now jumping into the articulation, and as you'd expect with an SD kit, it doesn't do a whole lot. It is solid besides the head wobbling around a little bit ever so slightly, but besides that, it is very solid. The articulation is very basic, once again, as you'd expect with one of these kits. Double ball jointed neck giving you that mini giggity goo. There's the head all the way up, so not a lot. All the way down ever so slightly. This side to side is pretty much everything you'd ever need. We've got a little bit of tilt. Inside the shoulder, we actually have a little bit of a polycap joint there. There is a ball joint heading in that way into the body, which does give us a little bit of forward and back, just like so. Besides that, we've got the full 360 around, regular shoulder roll. We've got a ball joint up here in the upper arm, so you do get a little bit of movement, full 360 spin. Believe it or not, we do have a little bit of an elbow bend. Not a whole lot, but enough to get some minor poses out of it. There's it straight, there it is it bent. And finally, a little bit of a ball joint wrist. When it comes to the torso, there is a ball joint in there that kind of moves it a little bit, but mainly what we get here is a little bit of rotation there to there, that is all. Polycap ball hips, which allow the legs to move in and out. You're not going to get the full splits, but you still get a little bit of movement to work with. We've got a little bit of rotation forward and back on that ball joint, and there's the kick all the way up to the front, and off with the foot, and all the way out to the back. The reason the foot fell off is just one of these kind of polycap joints. It attaches into just this kind of like, well, nothing really. It just kind of holds in there in a kind of odd way. So getting that foot on the ground to test out the functional movement, and there is no knee in this. The only actual joint in a limb is the elbow. There it is all the way to the back, all the way to the front, not a lot. And then there's your side to side. So again, not a whole lot. So of course it does make this little kit right here more of a little kind of cute display piece for on your desk as opposed to a poser. It's not really going to do too much in the lines of poses, especially down at the legs because it does have a lack of knees. But still, it's got a lot of charm and it's extremely cute. Anyway, that right there is it for the review. I'm not actually going to rank this because I'm not sure if I even have ranked SD kits before. I don't know too much about them. I don't have that many of them in order to kind of get a baseline as to how good the quality is right here. All I can say is I thoroughly enjoyed this a lot. It looks fantastic. When it comes to the actual aspects of an SD kit, this is all the good and very little of the bad. Of course, you will have to either paint it or apply stickers to get all of that detail out, but that is definitely par for the course for an X standard SD kit. However, what you get in the end has very little of the negative aspects. Like, I'm not really seeing much hollow parts. We actually have clear parts, which is a very nice addition, and this just looks phenomenal. Now, my favorite thing to do with these is always to pull off the head and stick it on a high grade. I love this kind of proportion. The big head on a full-fledged high-grade body just kind of looks so good. I do it over and over and over again. It looks really, really nice. So just in case you're curious as to what that looks like, that is it right there. Once again, super, super cute. Enjoyed it a lot. Won't be blasting out too many poses, but it will always be looking super, super cute. Anyway, if you do want one of your own, there's a link down there in the description. As always, thank you so, so much for watching. Make sure to come back for more Gunpla reviews, and I'll see you next time. As always, this video and every video would not be possible without each and every one of you guys who watches my videos. And special thanks to those of you who are supporting me over on Patreon and on the channel members, including Caleb Engelhart, Global Frequency Studios, Go Little Rockstar, Gunpla UK Limited, Joe, Kill Me Inc., Lawrence Seahack, RG59061, and Van Fawn.